Alrighty, in this video, we're going to look at D7, proofs involving parallel lines 2 for geometry. Let's take a look. It says complete the proof that angle HIJ is congruent to angle H. Okay, and we've got this figure here. And notice that we weren't given anything in the text of the problem, but we were given information in the figure. So these little red triangles here give to us or provide to us that IH or HI and GJ are parallel lines. Likewise, these red marks right here let us know that these angles are congruent to one another. Okay, so let's take a look at the proof. There are a couple of missing reasons that we're going to have to fill in. First line says GJ is parallel to HI. Okay, and we just noticed this from the figure. This was given to us with those red triangles, so the reason is given. The next line says FJG, angle FJG is congruent to angle FGJ. Yeah, we noticed that too in the figure with the red lines right here, so that's given as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the next line. The next line says HIJ, angle HIJ is congruent to angle FJG. HIJ is congruent to FJG. Okay, we know these are parallel lines, so what we need to do is we need to identify what type of pair of angles these are. HIJ and FJG. So this angle and this angle. Okay, they are corresponding angles. Whenever we have corresponding angles with parallel lines, we know that those two angles are congruent. So the reason for this, the reason they're congruent is the corresponding angles theorem. Okay, the next one says angle H is congruent to angle FGJ. Angle H is congruent to angle FGJ. This angle and this angle. Yeah, they're corresponding angles as well. Okay, so we're going to use the same reason, corresponding angles theorem. All right, let's go to the next line. The next line says angle H is congruent to angle FJG. Now, we could go back and look at the figure and see if there's a reason based on the figure that these two are congruent. But I'm seeing these angle names, these angles in the previous line. So I'm going to see if maybe they used some combination of these lines along with one of our reasons, one of our properties to come up with line 5. Okay, so right here, we know that angle H is congruent to angle FGJ. Okay, we know that angle H is congruent to angle FGJ. Let's see if we can see angle FGJ somewhere else. I see it right here. Angle FGJ is congruent to FJG. So if we use lines 2 and 4, okay, if we use 2 and 4, 2 says FJG is congruent to FGJ, and 4 says that H is congruent to FGJ. If I substitute FJG in for FGJ, then we can come up with line 5. Okay, so we've obtained line 5 by taking line 2, making a substitution for line 4, and that's given us line 5. Actually, this could be one of two properties. This could be substitution, and that's what I'm going to select for this one, but it could also be the transitive property of congruence. Okay, so I'm going to use substitution for this one because that's kind of how I described it to you. And IXL will take either one for this question. And now let's take a look at the very last line and let's do the same thing. Let's see if we can figure out where they've come up with this line. So HIJ is congruent to H. I'm going to jump up because I see HIJ up here on line 3. And it says that HIJ is congruent to FJG. And look at that. We know that FJG is congruent to H. So we're going to use substitution again. We're going to use lines 3 and line 5. We're going to use line 3, and we're going to substitute angle H in for angle FJG because of what we see on line 5. And we're going to say substitution for line 6 as well. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and submit.